and we get the opportunity to work with them to develop two things. The first is really a fundamental basis of athleticism, and this is where sort of strength and conditioning is sort of traditionally sits. So we spend a lot of time on the fundamentals, and it's a non-sport specific program, so they come into our academy and then they will go out into their sport. So we have young people from all sorts of sports, and not only that, we also have athletes from for a number of different abilities. So we've got a 8-year-old autistic girl that trains with us, and our job is to support her to have more confidence and to be able to express herself more. At the same time, we've got 16-year-olds that are playing for our country. And so we adopt growth and maturation methodology, so we need to understand it and we need to continue to evolve our understanding of it. So the really sensitive time of that pubertal growth spurt, so our athletes range from 8 through 16. So we need to understand what's going on during that period, not just from a physical point of view, but as you'll see in the slides to come, from a psychological and social point of view. And then we throw some effects of training into the mix. We think about movement as our number one, no matter where they are on that curve. So a movement competency approach, as I'm sure a lot of you take in your work, is our number one. And then we look at what we know from the research that we're conducting, but also from the practice that we've had a lot of time out there doing, of what we can get out of our young athletes at different phases of development. So we look at what happens before that growth spurt, what happens after, and what happens in between. So these things are going along all the time, and this is where our program started. It's where I started back in 2010. It was very much a physical program. And then I spent a long time talking to the likes of Dame Val and Rob Waddell and parents and all of the other people that are involved in the young athlete's journey, and I went on a bit of a journey myself. And all of a sudden I thought, well, if we're going to provide the best support to our young athletes, then we need to understand what else is happening, so to truly embrace the word holistic. So that was the journey that I went on, and I'd like to share with you today. Before we get there, we've got a few current PhD projects, so we're conducting the research. Most of these are still in the physical domain, and it's something that we're moving towards having a holistic approach. So I work with sociologists, psychologists, and the like from AUT University and abroad to make sure that we are understanding the full picture. So we've got a PhD student in a primary school setting currently looking at some movement school stuff, which is pretty cool, and looking at some speed stuff, injury prevention stuff. So that stuff is going on. Really cool stuff, really interesting. But if we're being honest, that stuff is only just part of the picture.